Over the weekend, TikTok users claimed that they were being censored for criticizing the Trump administration. Now, maybe it was all in their heads. Maybe they were just imagining it. But keep in mind, just last week, the app was finally divested from Chinese ownership. It is now co-owned by Oracle CEO Larry Ellison. And remember, when we talk about him, whatever we do, we don't rub our hands like villains, okay? Because that is anti-Semitic. Now, Cenk, your 2 cents.
He's like, we took over. No, okay. So guys, TikTok's dead. So I'll just get to the end of the story. So we're gonna show you all the things that they're doing to manipulate. I haven't done a TikTok video in a while. It literally since they announced that Ellison was gonna take it over. And as Anna tells you the facts of the case here, I'm gonna connect the dots. I think that they're changed their algorithm in a specific way, and it's accidentally having an effect about the Alex Preddy coverage. So I'll get to my theory in a second, but first the facts.
So the news cycle has been dominated by the story of Alex Preddy, who was shot and killed by Border Patrol agents. But some TikTok users are stating that TikTok was suppressing videos having to do with ICE and President Donald Trump. So California State Senator Scott Wiener, who I have absolutely no love for at all, I think that he is a detriment to the state of California, I just wanted to get that out there, shared a post about this saying that TikTok is now state-controlled media. This morning I posted a TikTok about my legislation allowing people to sue ICE agents. It's sitting at 0 views, and I'm not the only person this is happening to. So in the bright red circle, you'll see the video in question. The video you can see has absolutely no views compared to his other videos, which in some cases have hundreds of thousands, in some cases tens of thousands of views. Okay. Now, other creators also stated their ICE-related videos were getting throttled or 0 views, at all, like no videos at all. So we'll go to Jules next, friend of the show. He says the new TikTok algorithm has 0, and I mean absolutely 0 news or politics content, not one word about anything going on at all, not even the weather. Interesting. And if these political figures or commentators aren't really doing it for you, you're still not buying it. Well, we've got Billie Eilish, right? Eilish. You know how to say it?
Barely. So don't test me.
Okay. Anyway, she does the singing, right?
I believe she does.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyway, sorry. So she slammed TikTok for seemingly suppressing political content as well. And we'll note that those issues were absolutely widespread. So certain TikTok users experienced those glitches regardless of whether or not they were trying to comment on the Trump administration. But there's more. Users are also reporting the following. Days after the US took over majority ownership of TikTok, the word Epstein has been censored. Gee, I wonder why. And there's a screenshot showing that the word Epstein is not allowed. Democratic politicians are now accusing TikTok's new majority owner, Larry Ellison, of changing the app to protect President Donald Trump. Interestingly enough, they had nothing to say when Larry Ellison talked about how he plans on surveilling every single American citizen to make sure that they're on their best behavior. They had nothing to say about that.
Yeah.
But we can't use this social media platform to go after our political opponents anymore. We're gonna speak out against that. Interesting.
Yeah. So I love when they accidentally tell on themselves. So if you don't know, Larry Ellison is the biggest donor to the IDF. He gave them $16 million in the middle of a genocide as charity, like attaboy, kill more Palestinians. So that's who Larry Ellison is. And they made it very clear, Netanyahu said on tape, we gotta go get the social media, including TikTok, because it's not to our advantage. Mitt Romney and other American politicians made it clear the TikTok sale had nothing to do with China. That was just an excuse. They were trying to buy it so that it's censored on behalf of Israel. And Romney talked about the Israelis are normally good at PR, but I guess we gotta make sure we force a TikTok sale. So that's why TikTok was purchased. So that's why I think it's now total junk. There is no fact pattern where Larry Ellison spends billions of dollars on TikTok and then allows you to do anti-Israel videos on TikTok. Not going to happen. But where's the part where they told on themselves? Wait, who said Jeffrey Epstein was connected to Israel? Like we've said it, Drop Site News I think has pretty much proven it.
At this point, everyone's saying it.
No. But my point is, for Larry Ellison and establishment media, they claim that's an outrageous position.
Well, I think Larry Ellison is outrageous, period. So I don't care.
No, my point is, as they're saying, connecting Epstein to Israel is outrageous and anti-Semitic. They're like, get rid of all the Epstein content to protect Israel.
They really got to stop saying.
Oh, so that's a confession. So why are you, if Epstein had to do with Norway or had to do with no other country, why is Larry Ellison, the biggest Israel fan in the world, blocking Epstein content? Oh, so it is connected.
Of course it is.
Thank you for the confession, Larry Ellison.
Yeah.
Okay, so now here's my theory as to why the Alex Preddy got blocked. So is he there? Are they kissing Trump's ass? Maybe, but they already got what they wanted out of Trump, which is this sale, the forced sale, so they could buy it. By the way, they also bought it for cheap. That's a whole nother story. So in this case, I think what they're doing is one of the oldest. I don't want to say it's a trick. It's a thing that happens online with the different platforms, and they have different barometers for how much of it they'll allow. But a lot of the platforms don't allow for violence, right? So if it's just a fight for fight's sake, or there's blood, there's a lot of different rules that the different platforms have. And so I get some of the logic of that, and most of the platforms do that legitimately, whether you agree or disagree. They don't want to encourage a lot of that content because if you keep showing violence, people will watch it. So they purposely suppress it to some degree. And so now, again, huge range there. And most of the platforms struggle with it. How much do we show? How much do we, what should our rules be, right? But that's a perfect excuse for, oh, well, we just can't show any violence on TikTok anymore. Oh, did that ban every video coming out of Gaza? Oh, I guess it accidentally banned every single video coming out of Gaza. Oh, and then it caught Alex Preddy and all that because that's also violence. So I think that that's what's happening here. Don't forget, Noble Mobile saving you a ton of money. So a lot of people are signing up now and beginning to realize, what the hell, why am I paying so much to Verizon and AT&T? So your bill's only $50 a month, but it can actually be less because they give you money back if you don't use your data. So if you're paying more than $50, there's no reason to not switch. It's crazy not to switch because same phone, same number, same contacts, literally nothing changes. TYT.com/switch, TYT.com/switch. All right, we'll be right back.
And no, I just think they're censoring political news. I think that's what's happening. No, and I hear what you're saying, especially platforms that have advertisers. It's the advertisers that dominate and control everything because they don't want to advertise on content that's deemed violent or would make the brand look bad in their eyes. So that content moderation does exist. But in the case of TikTok, I do believe that there is a very intentional effort here to censor political content, particularly political content that is not friendly to Israel or maybe even political content that's critical of Trump, who knows? But TikTok has responded to these claims and they claim that, no, there's no censorship happening, don't worry. It's just that we had issues due to a power outage at a US data center. Videos weren't actually receiving 0 views, that was only a display error, and that the word Epstein is not blocked. Can we go back to that Epstein graphic, please? That was graphic 3. Oh, that's interesting because this individual got a notice that said that the message, which contained the word Epstein, may be in violation of our community guidelines and has not been sent to protect our community. If you believe this was a mistake, let us know. I don't think it was a mistake. I think that was very much intentional. So
it's just one word there.
Yeah, and by the way, you are right in that the main motivation to divest TikTok from its previous Chinese owners had more to do with controlling the narrative about Israel, right? And our politicians just told us that that's the case, so we should believe them. Like, let's stop playing this game where either Israeli government officials or US government officials or politicians tell us straight up what they're doing and what their motivations are. And then we still have a debate about, what are they doing and what are their motivations? I'll tell you what their motivations are. This is from The Dissident. They wrote a great piece about this, kind of comprehensively putting all of these different statements together. Mike Gallagher admitted that the real story behind passing the bill on TikTok We had a bipartisan consensus. We had an executive branch, but the bill was still dead until October 7th. And people started to see a bunch of anti-Semitic content on the platform. Of course, they think anything that's critical of Israel is anti-Semitic, just period. And our bill had legs again. Similarly, Mitt Romney, we've shown you this video before, admitted that the real reason behind bipartisan support for the bill was because, quote, if you look at the postings on TikTok and the number of mentions of Palestinians relative to other social media sites, it's overwhelmingly so among TikTok broadcasts. So basically, TikTok is being used to disseminate accurate information about how evil the Israeli government and military is, and we just can't have that. US Representative Mike Lawler also admitted that student protests against the genocide in Gaza were, quote, exactly why we included the TikTok bill in the foreign supplemental aid package, because you're seeing how these kids are being manipulated by certain groups or entities or countries to foment hate on their behalf and really create a hostile environment here in the US.
It's funny because that's comment was accidentally foreshadowing of what Larry Ellison was gonna do on TikTok.
100%. And by the way, you wanna know what Mike Gallagher did after? Mike Gallagher later took $135,308 from the pro-Israel lobbying group American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC, when he was in government, and since leaving office became the head of defense business at Palantir.
Oh yeah. Of course. Israel butters their bread, and then they take our money and give it to them. They take our companies and social media and give it to them, etc. It's just open bribery. Almost all of Congress works for Israel. TikTok, censor that, okay, and also kiss my ass. So here's what's gonna happen with TikTok. So they think they're gonna be subtle and cute, and they're definitely gonna ban all content that criticizes Israel. That's the whole point of the purchase. So that is locked in. Once that happens, they think, oh, we will now trick the young kids. They will stay on here and love Israel. You're not gonna trick anyone. Eventually what's gonna happen is a chant is gonna start across the country. My space, my space, my space. So if you don't remember, this is a long time ago, MySpace was a big upcoming social media platform until the Murdochs bought it.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Is that why it died?
Yeah. Of course.
Oh.
So I can't wait for that to happen to TikTok. So Rupert Murdoch's like, I will now be hip with the young kids, and we will do propaganda on this platform called MySpace. It died within like 6 months. Everybody was like, oh, Murdoch owns it? Let's get out of here.
It's amazing.
You know why? Hey, Larry, I love that you wasted all your money on that trying to do propaganda. The internet is large. We could just go somewhere else. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.